In the early days of the COVID crisis, we didn't know how serious this was going to be. And all of a sudden, there were an incredible number of people out of work, and we were having to figure out how to feed 1,000 people a day in our little town. And I remember we were searching for a space to store equipment and food products and the like for the meals that were going to be used. And one of the neighboring buildings, the landlord brought me into her building and the team. And at that moment, Hans Christian was playing all alone in this big empty space in the corner. And we walked in, and I get emotional about it today. It was so overwhelming, the moment, that to hear him play in that space, we just stood there. And he just kept playing on the other side of the room. And it brought me to tears. We were so scared and overwhelmed and concerned, and his music was so cathartic. It was overwhelming, the task that lay ahead of us, and yet somehow just that few minutes of music made us find the fortitude to just persevere on. And you wouldn't think that his music or anyone's music could do that, but I still remember that day so poignantly. Beyond the artistry and the simple beauty of Hans Christian's music, what is so special to me is it elicits this emotional response. I was listening to it just last night, knowing I was going to have this conversation today, and I found myself immersed not just in his music, but I was immersed in my memories. It wasn't background music, but it wasn't music that demanded my attention. It was music that brought me to a montage of moments in my life, some of which were joyful, others of which were really quite sad, but they were all important parts of my life. And his music does a magnificent job pulling that out. It connects you to the emotions of those moments in the past. When I listen to his music, it's really because I want to reflect. It takes me back to those points in my life that were most important to me and made me who I am. And I so thoroughly enjoy it for those reasons. His music does a wonderful, magical job on eliciting those emotions which sort of connect you to your own memories. It's just unique. It's exquisite. Sturgeon Bay is a small community in a small county on the thumb of Wisconsin, pointing out into Lake Michigan. And we're so far removed from the music industry and stardom and all of those things you think about. The fact that he was merely nominated is a tremendous honor for him, but it's also an honor for our community. And were he to ever bring this award back, it would be a validation of the fact that someone so talented would choose to call this place home, when clearly those skill sets would make it possible to make a living in a lot of other places. And yet he chooses to make this his home. And it reminds the rest of us that we've made similar choices. We might not have had the career opportunities he might have had, but it makes us all feel like we're here for the right reason. And the world recognizes that.